and I want to welcome you all to the Gann Academy admissions panel on transferring to Gann and college counseling. You may think they're not connected, but there actually are, because whether you're coming to Gann in 9th grade or 10th grade or 11th grade, you are part of our community, you are valued, and you get the amazing experience. We are so thrilled tonight to have people from our admissions team here, and also some current students and their parents. So we're really excited. We're grateful for those of you who are helping us tonight, and we welcome those of you who are new to our community. So with that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Wendy Falchuk. I work with my amazing admissions team that is here, and also our deans, our college counseling, many of whom are here tonight and you will meet. I want to introduce Gina Carballo, who many of you have met or will meet. Gina, give a wave. Gina works with me in admissions. Emily Goncalves. Emily, give a wave. And Ellen Seward. If you have not been in touch with one of us at this point, you need to do so ASAP. Our admissions deadline is coming up. It's January 15th. Tours and interviews are a part of that, but you also need login. So I think everybody here we know, but if you have any questions, certainly reach out to us. We are here to help you. We don't want this to be daunting. We want it to be easy and exciting so that you have opportunities to learn more about Gann. We're also so thrilled tonight to have Miss Cindy Jacobs, who is our Dean of Students, who's going to lead the next part of our panel. And following that, Sherry Geller was one of our two amazing college counselors. So with that, Ms. Jacobs, may I turn it over to you to introduce our student and family panel?
Happily. Hi, it's nice to see everyone this evening. I'm Ms. Jacobs, and as Wendy said, I'm the Dean of Students. I'm also the Dean for the classes of 2021, current seniors, and also the class of 2023, our sophomore class. Yay! And tonight we have students with us, some amazing, amazing students. We have from the class of 2021, yeah, shout out, Jack Mitzenmacher. Come on, Jack, say hey. There we go. And her dad is on, Michael Mitzenmacher. There he is. Oh, he's with the Peanuts crew. We also have with us, where'd they go? Jonah. Jonah, you want to say hi? There we go. Jonah Tillman, he's a junior, as well as Hannah Kimball. Hannah, there we go. And Hannah's mom is with us. People are moving around, you know, like when somebody joins their whole screen. And there's Karen. Hey, Karen. So we are excited and we're fortunate that they're joining us tonight. I just want to acknowledge that for some of them, this is their, you know, second or third Zoom. So we're really grateful that y'all are all here with us tonight. So transferring, I know that for many people, transferring can be something challenging. The students with us are all transfer students, and I'm hoping that y'all can hear a little bit about their experience and what it was like when they transferred. We work really hard to make sure that it's seamless, but we do want to acknowledge that, you know, transferring is a transition, and transitions can be weird. And there's lots of ways that we try to make it less weird, if that's even possible. Some of the ways that we do is we connect transfer students up with other students here at Gann. I'm going to ask the students if they have anything to say about that when they came. So who wants to go first? Hannah, thanks. Maybe you can also just say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Hannah. I transferred from a large public school going into sophomore year, and coming in, the Gann community was very strong, and they geared me towards kids in my grade that they thought I could connect with, and I did, and they were all very welcoming, and even though I knew someone that Gann connected me with people, but then the people they connected me with connected me with other people. So it was kind of like a whole group of people that I was able to connect with. And going in, I knew that there was a strong community, and now I can definitely say there is.
Okay. Anybody else want to talk about what that was like for them initially? I'm going to go in row. Jonah, you're next on my screen. So how about you? Why don't you say a little bit about yourself first?
All right, sounds good. My name is Jonah. I'm also a junior. I transferred from a different private school. Similar to what Hannah said, I think Gann is a very welcoming, and also because it's a small community too. It doesn't. So I think it's really easy, and I think the transition was very smooth, and similar to what Hannah previously said, it's just you can find that community and that group really quickly, and it's a very welcoming and open community.
Thanks, Jonah. All right, Jack, it's your turn, hon.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jack. I'm currently a senior and I transferred from another private school. And I remember being super nervous at first, but the admission staff, I mean, like immediately they suggested, oh, there's an all-girls robotics team because they knew I was interested in STEM. And they sort of pushed me in that direction too, which I think was a great outlet and also a great way to get to know people who are also interested in similar activities.
You know, I'm so glad you said that, Jack, because, before we begin, I'm sorry. Let me have the parents introduce themselves. Karen, can you go just a little bit about yourself and as a parent, what it was like having your student transfer? I'm sure that was also very, you were anxious.
Yeah, I think you're right. Any transition is always a little bit of nerves,
Mhm.
but little by little, the decision that we made was, we knew it was right from the beginning, but it just every day confirmed that decision. And I found the parents, the parent association, very welcoming, and you felt immediately part of Gann. You didn't feel like an outsider. You can get as involved as you want, or not get involved. You're not judged by that, that there's all different kinds of opportunities to do what you want to do to feel connected. And the communication is terrific that comes from the school. So I always felt informed. There's the weekly newsletter, but then there's other things that come out from the grade dean or from the parent guardian association. But for the first time ever, I have Hannah being very happy going to school. Even now, still happy with COVID and everything. It's wonderful to see that she loves school, and I never saw that before. So
That's what we want.
I'm
yeah,
just going to say, I don't know if there's anything better. I want to shoot to Jack for a minute because I know that she, one of the things that Jack does, if I could, Jack, is that you're on student council and they are also having a meeting tonight. And so she told them that she was going to be a little late because, we have this. But, when you were saying, Jack, I think that that's one of the really important things I think that we do, which, Hannah mentioned and Jonah, which is connect you with things that are going to help with that transition. When we do a really intentional job of matching you with, students that we think you're going to connect with. And the other piece is finding what you're interested in and getting involved in those activities, whether it's athletics or clubs. Jack, can you speak just for a few minutes about your activities? Because I know you do a ton.
Yeah, I'm crazy busy this year. It was a bit of a transition period last year. I had a couple fewer activities, but now I'm back up to a lot. But last year it was really suggested to me, oh, you should look into the robotics team. And I was really excited by that because they do have an all-girls robotics team. And I hadn't had the opportunity to participate in a team like that before. And
Jack, say what your name is?
Oh, I'm Jack. Yes, I'm
the
Jack.
name of the robotics team, the all-female.
Bat mitzvahs. Yes,
Bat mitzvahs. Yeah.
And we, it was really great to have that sort of told to me and explained to me that I would have this opportunity. And from there, I was also able to meet a lot of other kids in STEM, which was also really helpful. And then now this year, I'm also doing mock trial and student council. And those were sort of introduced to me in a slightly different way. For mock trial, one of the history teachers actually asked me if I'd be interested in it after an Explo week, which is sort of like a week in the spring where they try and teach you about something very specific that a kid might be interested in, not a lot of time. So I was doing one, I think I had signed up for one about about civil rights in the South. And we ended up, that didn't work out because of COVID, but in the prep for that, we ended up doing a lot of debates and that type of thing while we were doing like little mini classes about it. And from there, mock trial was introduced to me. And the teachers really do pay attention, are like, I see this person's interested in this, they should probably try for this. And then with student council, I forget who it was. I think it was either an administrator or one of the Gann faculty emailed me actually and was like, would you be interested in trying for grade rep? And I was like, sure, totally. And I was really interested in it, and I'm having a good time with it, even though this year is a little difficult. We're working on it, but it's been fun.
It's been great. Jack, your dad is here, and I wanted to give him a chance to say something before you run. Michael, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I think it was just great. Jack also did mention like she came in and got to do. She was very interested in sewing and got involved with making the costumes for the play the first semester she was there. Yeah, I think just overall, one of the things that's great about the school is there are just an awful lot of activities going on. The students create their own activities. You know, Jack's been involved in helping out with a new student group that is looking at sort of social and cultural issues on campus. Yeah, I think just the fact that there's a lot already there, they're very encouraging about trying to get students to do things that will interest them. And, you know, and last of all, if there's not something there that students want, they're open to having things start or having students bring things together. And I think all of that, you know, really opens the doors to students at this age being able to find themselves.
Thank you. I'm not sure I could have said that better. I really appreciate that. Jack, I know student council started, so, you know, if you have to jump, we understand that. I do want to mention something that you and Jonah and Hannah said, and that was that one of the things that really helps students with transitioning is the fact that we're a small school and there's lots of people around. So, you know, you have, not only do you have the admission team who is onboarding you, but then you get an advisor and you meet with these people before you get here. And the advisor is sort of your point person, your advocate. In addition to your advisor, you've got faculty, and these faculty are not just teaching you and then see you tomorrow. These faculty are involved and engaged. And there's other people, deans, myself and the other deans. There's a lot of eyes going on. There's a lot going on, college counselors. It's really the community. And I feel like that's something that really helps with the transition. The small school, the advisors, the teachers. And most of all, I think when students come to Gann, and this is something Michael said, you feel like you can do something. You know, yes, we have a lot of people encourage you to get involved and do stuff, but I think there's this culture of Gann kids just aren't sitting around. They're engaged, they're active, they're doing stuff, and they feel empowered, as Michael said. If there's not something there they want, they find somebody who has the same interest, and it's like, hey, let's start this. You know, and I think that that's different, and that's very distinctive for Gann. You know, I'm wondering, of the transfers, you know, Hannah, Jonah, Jack, what if you could go back and tell yourself a year ago when you transferred, what advice would you give yourself? I'm going to start with Hannah.
I think I definitely just tell myself to reach out to teachers more. I think at the beginning of the year, like I didn't, like when I was at my other school in 9th grade, I didn't really use my teachers as much just because they didn't really like promote that, but Gann promotes that all the time. And I think I didn't really think twice about it, but then it was getting towards the middle of the year, sophomore year, and I reached out to my teachers a lot, and then I realized, oh, maybe my teachers can actually help me if I'm struggling or something. Like I know a few weeks ago I was really stressed with the work and I had something due and it was really late. So I emailed one of my teachers and I just said, like, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Can I have an extension? And she was super willing to do that. I mean, I don't always recommend doing that. I think she's just more willing because, like, I mean, if you're always going to do it, but she was super willing. And I think like that's kind of like all the teachers, like they care about you as a student and your actual well-being.
Thanks, Hannah. Jonah.
Yeah,
What would
sure.
you-
Similar to Hannah, I get just with the relationships. I think a big thing for me was my advisor, and oh, sorry, I didn't feel like I had too much of a connection with my advisor at my last school, and I think it kind of caught me off guard, but in a good way. That like we have advisory twice a week at Gann, which is great, and you're able to be with this small group of people, like 7 to 8 kids. And another thing is, even now, I think a great thing is that we're able to still have advisory twice a week, even with COVID. And my advisor will always like reach out to us saying, if you want to meet in person one-on-one, feel free to reach out. And I'd be happy to talk, and they'll always talk to you and check in on you, making sure everything's okay with your classes and stuff. And I think that's a great thing. That's something like I've never felt before going into Gann, that relationship I can have.
Thanks. Jack, you're on.
I can
Anything
give
to add?
this and then I'll head off to my student council. But I think I'd really just say, the school's your oyster. Take advantage of it.
Nah.
There's so many different opportunities and clubs and student groups, and also just, great classes to take. And I think, your experience is what you make it. And I think that's part of why so many students love Gann so much, is just we have so much opportunity to really explore our passions, and we have access to some great materials in terms of either STEM or costuming or any of it, and then a great mock trial. Like all of these activities are super. There's so much opportunity to really pursue your interests, and I love it.
That's great. That's great. Thanks so much, Jack. Tell student council I said hi. Just to wrap up, I want to add one other thing that I think really helps with transitions. We have grade level programs. We do something called a Shabbaton. Each grade comes together for a weekend in a normal year. And I feel like that sense of coming together also enables people in, sort of earlier within the first semester to meet friends and sort of get a chance to explore more about, who they are. But as they get to have, as I learned the term DMCs, which is deep, meaningful conversations with people that, they might not have had a chance to talk to, which also comes to help bond the whole grade. And there are opportunities for that, certainly in the first semester when you're coming. So I think that's important. I'm curious from the parents, Michael, Karen, what advice would you have for parents who are, helping their students maybe, transfer to Gann?
I'll go.
Sure.
I see like one of the questions was like, what was the biggest challenge and related to that? I mean, I think transferring in, like one of the things, and this is, I think, true for any school, is just figuring out what classes are the right classes and lining up. Different schools can have slightly different systems in terms of, what they're doing in sciences or the math or any of the subjects. And so, what I found is that, Gann was very supportive in this, that we were able to have like a discussion and a back and forth and a like, well, what is it that you're doing in this class, and would you be able to take this, and then just trying to map things onto the right schedule. So, I think it's a challenge just because it would be a challenge for any sort of transfer. But it was definitely one where I felt that the Gann counselors were very supportive in helping figuring out, what the right things to do were and how to manage it. I think probably the biggest worry as a parent is, is my child going to be happy? Are they going to be able to make friends in this new place or new environment? And I think I'm still not quite sure how you do it, but Gann is if it's just the kids or how it's set up, but everyone was very welcoming. Like, it's this weird thing that when we went in for like a visit before she went, like there was a sign up, up on the electronic board, like welcome Jacqueline, and that sort of welcoming spirit, which seemed like, it's like, wow, this is kind of, unusual for a visit that they go do these things. I think that, is enhanced or reinforced when the students come, and the students, I think, do their best to make new people feel welcome. So I still don't know how you all do that, but that was our experience with Jacqueline.
Okay, Karen, anything to add?
Yeah, I would say to be open to like Hebrew class. Don't think that you have to know Hebrew so well, or that you come from a very religious, background. I really found that, not these stressful assessments, but there's a good exchange of information, communication, skill, see where the student is skill level. And, the placement was right. And you can be comfortable then in the right class for the student. And it doesn't mean that you've studied Hebrew for so many years and, to succeed, because you don't need to. You could have very little knowledge or none. So I'd say be open. And it at first sounded like a lot, like, oh, there's Hebrew class, there's Jewish studies class. But the Jewish studies class, I think, was one of Hannah's favorite classes coming in, because it was just an open discussion. Like, you could be yourself, you could say things in a non-judgmental way. And I think she grew a lot from being able to feel comfortable in a circle talking with classmates about things that you wouldn't normally talk about in a classroom setting. So just being open to the different classes and just working with the resources at the school to figure out what's best.
Mhm. Thank
I
you.
have to say, like, those are great points, and I agree with both of them. Jack came in with like no Hebrew and has loved it, and the Jewish studies classes is one of her favorites as well. I think you really hit some points that we shared in our experience.
Mhm. That's great. You guys are amazing, honestly. So I feel like we could continue talking. I know that college counseling is waiting, and they have a lot to share as well. So I, at this point, just want to toss the proverbial ball over to the college counselors, Sherry Geller and Lauren Avalos. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And I just want to thank y'all for coming. I hope we get to see you again soon. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Wendy and the admission team, can answer it, or you can reach out to any of us. So ready? You going to catch the ball, y'all? Here we go. College counselors. Boom. There you go. There we go. I knew Sherry would catch it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sherry Geller. I'm one of the college counselors, and my co-director will introduce herself in a minute. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and this is my 11th year at Gann. I worked in college admissions for 12 years at Brandeis and Northeastern, and I also worked at another private school in the area for a few years. Ms. Avalos, why don't you introduce yourself and take it away?
I thought you were going to throw me the ball. I was excited.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shall I do that?
No,
Yeah.
I'm a better catcher than thrower. Here you go.
all good. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Lauren Avalos. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm co-director of college counseling as well. And together with Ms. Geller, we support students in their college endeavors, but also within the fabric of Gann, everyone is supporting students their whole way through. I have been at Gann for, this is my second year after 11 years spent at MIT as Associate Director of Admissions there and a few colleges before that. I'm just really excited to be here and have Wi-Fi connectivity, which I didn't have 20 minutes ago. So thanks everyone for having us. And I'm gonna just set my own little timer because college counselors love to talk. So I just wanna stay on target. I know everybody needs their time. So we're going to provide you with a snapshot of Gann's the resources that our office provides within Gann. We're going to share a few slides. We're not going to have time to get into like every nitty gritty thing, but we do want to share with you in a comprehensive way all of the different ways that we support you and you're supported within the fabric of the Gann community because we are all connected. We're your primary resources, Ms. Geller and I, for college guidance. And this is a very, like I said, comprehensive slide of all of the different things that we do. Our experiences and our relationships in college admissions and among other Jewish day schools position us really well to support students wherever they are within their college journey. And so here on this slide, we have a rundown of the services and resources that we provide, including developing college lists and reviewing college essays, activity lists, staying on top of current trends, and maintaining open lines of communication with colleges, college deans, and directors, which has been incredibly important this year, given all of the changes. And then next we break it down sort of in timeline form. Moving from this slide to 9th grade and 10th grade, we've broken it down year by year, just to give you an idea of how we work with students within their path at Gann. So first year students are mostly focusing on acclimating to high school life and academic expectations, their own, their parents, their teachers. And so in 9th grade, we do have a meeting with parents that sort of highlights the road ahead and all of the different resources within Gann that are available to students. With students and advisors, we provide a meeting that kind of overviews what a transcript is. Oops. My video stopped for a second there. Okay, what a transcript is, because while you're at Gann, you are obtaining grades and comments and feedback from your instructors, your teachers. But colleges will be looking later down the road at transcripts. And so we want to give you an overview of what that is versus a report card. Colleges see transcripts and we go over the information that's shared, how it's interpreted by colleges, and how their academic experiences, students' academic experiences will be framed within that transcript report that goes out. In the 10th grade, we continue to work with advisors and students to support student course selection as your options broaden as you go into your 10th grade year, and there are more types of courses that are available and more levels, tracks of courses that you can choose from advanced level courses and later on AP classes that you can select from. For transfer students, you may enter Gann outside of the academic sequence of courses. So you might be coming in from a different district that might teach classes in a different order. And Ms. Geller and I are available to help you make decisions to reach your academic goals. We want to make sure that if you are coming in out of sequence, which is common and that happens, we want to make sure that your goals are met, the goals that you set for yourself, and that we help you set as we move forward. We also have a class meeting for students and parents in the 10th grade year that details testing options, test prep, the time frame for testing at Gann for those students who plan to submit standardized tests. In 11th grade, that's the next slide, 11th grade, so here in 11th grade is when we engage with juniors regularly through individual and student and family meetings, class meetings on timely topics. We have informational programming with guest speakers from colleges to meet with students, either at Gann in typical times, remotely, or perhaps a hybrid of both in the coming years, to discuss specific areas of the college process. We really want to get into those specific areas, move from that broader window and narrow that down with juniors. So in the winter and spring, we do meet with students several times, all of the students, scheduled meetings with parents, and also students can drop in. Like, our focus is really on students getting comfortable with the college process, wherever they are within that process. Everyone is different and has different goals. And some folks will come in with a very specific idea of what they want, and some folks will come in and really just need a lot of guidance from the beginning. And wherever you are within that process, we want to help you move forward with all of these different resources, developing lists, requesting teacher recommendations and support, and so forth. And then in senior year, so that's where we're living right now with our seniors. Again, we have scheduled meetings with students, so everyone receives the same amount of attention, but then also there's drop-in time along the way as senior year narrows. Students start selecting their early action and early decision choices. They start getting more into the process and understanding how the process flows in the year of application to college. We want to help them navigate not only the logistics, but strategy and comfort level, the students' comfort level and the family's comfort level with the colleges that they're looking at and considering. So that ranges from filing the applications to considering financial aid options. Many students at Gann consider gap years and do take gap years. We do have support for that process as well. And so this is so quick. I'm sorry, my timer stopped like 10 seconds ago, but this is a very brief sort of overview of how we work with students as they go through from 9th to 12th grade. And Ms. Geller is going to take the next piece.
Ms. Geller, you're on mute.
Indeed, I am. Thank you. I feel like one of those, as we were laughing before, about one of those old people who are you unmute or you unmute. In any case, something that works out well for transfer students specifically is that the bulk of our work starts in 11th grade. So although Ms. Avalos mentioned some of the things we do with 9th and 10th graders, and we have a lot of collaboration for 9th and 10th graders with their teachers and advisors, the oldest a student would be to transfer would be in 11th grade, and that's when we really get going with the meat of our process. So Jack, our student that was on with us before, came in as an 11th grader and didn't miss anything in terms of like the meat of our process, but we do those few things earlier for students too. So Ms. Avalos talked about how do we get to the end point, but everyone's always curious about where do our students end up. And here's a snapshot from last year of where our seniors ended up. You'll see that they went to colleges not only all over this country, but last year we had 2 students choose international institutions. And I picked out a different kinds of categories: small, medium, large, urban, specialized, popular, things like that. But we work with each student and think about what are the things that are important to them. 2 different students might both want a small school, but one might want it to be around the corner and one might want it to be in Colorado. Different students care at different levels about how far from home, what types of resources, what types of majors, of course, what the Jewish community looks like, different ways to be involved and be engaged, and what the whole admission process looks like. So this gives you a snapshot of last year, but it's actually pretty typical of what our outcomes often look like. What's great is that even though our classes are small, our students go to a really, really diverse group of schools. And as I look at other peer institutions, when I look at Jewish day schools, some Jewish day school lists are actually have a very, very small list of where their students end up. And ours tends to be broader because our students have lots of different interests and many are willing to travel, but they're all looking to find the place that is best for them. You've probably heard the term fit, and that is something we focus on a lot, is what is the right fit for each student, and then working with them to get them there. And again, we collaborate a lot with other offices, and we have all kinds of resources. So while we've put together a really comprehensive college counseling program where, as Ms. Avalos mentioned, we are the primary contact, we also have other people at Gann and different kinds of resources at Gann to support students as they move through the process. So we are kind of like home base when students think college counseling, but then they have the advisor that's known them since freshman year, who's not only working with the students, but also in touch with us and serving as a liaison, as a bridge, as we're getting to know the kids and then support them as they need different things when they are juniors and seniors. So with that, I'm gonna stop sharing. And I know that I'm gonna now toss the proverbial ball back to Wendy, but we will be available for questions as part of the general Q&A as well. Wendy.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to make sure that we have time for any questions from our prospective families. And I also want to make sure our current families and students have time to share. I know Jack had to go. She was our senior. Jonah and Hannah are not, they're just starting their college process. But just any other thoughts, anything that's helpful? Such a quiet bunch. I did have a question earlier about if you transfer to Gann, separate from college counseling, if you transfer to Gann, what happens in terms of your credits? So I don't know, Ms. Jacobs, if you want to take that one, or Gina and Emily, just about the logistics of transferring in terms of where you've come from.
I'm happy to jump in and have Gina or Emily, sort of tag on if that's okay. If I miss something, which is possible. So what the first thing we do is, we look at the transcript from your from the school you're coming from, and look at the courses, how they match up, as Michael and Karen were saying, to the courses that we have at Gann. There is, there's always things that can be worked out, whether it's you're missing an arts class, or, as they said, you're out of sequence with math or science. We have courses that you can go into where you can make it up. And the person who does this is our Director of Academic Operations, Julia Mabuchi. She's kind of a miracle worker. Like, the things she does is actually quite remarkable. And she knows the system better than anybody. She is the queen. And I am sure that in, the last several years, I mean, this is my 5th year at Gann, she's been there all this time, that there hasn't been a student who hasn't been able to sort of, fit in their work and get, the courses that they needed. And so it's part of sort of that smooth transition. You may not be able to take it exactly that moment, but that it comes up and that there's a plan about when you are going to do it, so that by the end, you've got all the credits you need, as well as the classes that you want to take. So did I miss anything?
Yes, we make sure to work with any sending school. Nobody's ever been short. We work it out. We make it happen for sure. So that's not something we want you to worry about, but it's a very common question. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Emily, do you have something to add?
I can chime in. So I, for the last many years, have worked with a lot of different types of transfer students. And the one thing I can say overall is that it's a really individualized process. So I think that's really like the key driving force of how we bring transfer students in. They're coming from so many different schools, so many different types of schools. I mean, we've had students come from international schools where we've had to, just really communicate with other institutions. So it's just really individualized. And each department chair works with the academic operations office and the family and really, really gets to know the contents of what students' classes were like at their previous school. So whether it's connecting with their previous science teacher to learn about what, they experienced in this class, or finding out what, Math 9 means, because, at some schools, they learn a bunch of different things in 9th grade and how that translates or how that could transfer. So it's really individualized. Department chairs also play a big role in sort of helping figure out what students have covered and how they can satisfy certain requirements at Gann. So I know I worked with Michael a lot, with Jack, and how to make sure that everything lined up. And this CS class, this computer science class you took, that actually lines up with computer science 2 here, or so it's very, very individualized. So that is sort of my biggest takeaway, is that we just really do research and we work with the right people and we bring the right people to the table.
Thank you, Emily. I think Ms. Avalos is going to jump in because we've got some questions in the chat.
Hi, I'm going to take the question, although Michael did an excellent job answering the question. I am just going to jump in and answer the first question that was about SATs. Ooh, that question just jumped down on me. Where is it? Do you help with non-Saturday testing for SAT, ACT? So I'm going to take that first one. We definitely do. So for the ACT, Gann is a Sunday site for testing. We offer the test multiple times in the fall and in the spring, in traditional times, and even in COVID, we offered a summer administration. We offered a several fall administrations. So with ACTS, with SAT, we're not an SAT test center, but we do assist students with finding the local Sunday centers. And also, as he mentioned, this year, given so many tests were canceled, we did partner with another Jewish day school, and we offered the exam in partnership with them for any student who wanted to take the SAT. So any student who wanted to take a standardized test this year was able to do so, and in most cases more than once if they wanted that. So we are very aware of students' needs as we get to know them, and want to make sure that if testing is a goal and how their testing plan unfolds, we want to support them in that and work with them closely on that.
Michael, did you want to jump in or add anything else just about the college process in general? I know you're in it, so it's probably not a fair question.
I'm right here, so.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's all been positive. The school's been very, very responsive. I think we went through it with our older daughter, not at Gann, and I have to say it seemed a lot more stressful. So that may part also be due to Jack, but I think you guys are really all on top of things, and helping everything get out the door. Yeah, I feel like it's gone remarkably smoothly. She already has like a half dozen in, and we're just waiting to put in the last few, even though we're sort of before the deadline.
Good.
I'll add one more thing on testing, and I'm happy to take the other question that was in the chat about Hillel also and Jewish life. The one more thing I'll add is that when students take the SAT on a Sunday, they need documentation that they're taking it for religious reasons, and that's something that we provide. So in addition to helping find test centers, we also make sure the students have whatever resources they need to be appropriately qualified for the test. The second question in the chat was about if we also share information from college representatives about Hillel. And the answer is yes, and that happens in a few different ways. One is that before our representatives come to Gann, or whether it's virtual or hopefully in the future in person again, we always share information with them about Gann and ask any new representatives to be sure to find out information about Hillel so that they are well versed in their Jewish life organizations on campus, be able to share that with us. On occasion, we've had representatives from Hillel come either separate or with admissions officers, but we also often are invited to programs specifically for Jewish students on campuses, and then we share information about that. So for example, this spring, BU, Tufts, Princeton, and a few other schools had their own programs for Jewish kids all over the country. They let us know and we tell students about them. And then Hillel International did a program in the spring and again one this fall, grouping together schools all over the country for different kinds of information sessions. So we keep lists and information about Jewish life on campus in general, but also more specifics about kosher food and different minyanim or prayer groups. And when we can get them, if the Hillels have printed information, we keep resources on file as well. So I feel like June Avalos and me were pretty well versed in Jewish life on campuses, and we also know how to connect students to the right people when there's questions that we don't know the answers to about Jewish life.
That's great. That's even more than I was hoping for. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Thanks for asking.
I wonder if we can throw it back to Hannah and Jonah. I don't want to put either of you on the spot, but you're both juniors, right? Junior year, we often hear about the pressure of junior year. Can you just talk to us a little bit about how it's going, the fact that you've been in person for 15 weeks? And also, you've both had experiences at other schools. So, how you can think about your experience at other schools and coming to Gann. I know you both talked about your relationships with teachers, or I've heard you talk about that before, if not tonight. We obviously have small class sizes, but just anything that you think would be helpful for somebody that's coming to Gann, either from a public school, another Jewish day school, an independent school, or transferring, because it's just everybody's coming from a different place, but you all have come here and done it so successfully, which of course is great for Gann, but it's also great because you all have made that happen. So it's a little bit of a loud and proud question and moment, just in terms of your time at Gann. Jonah.
Yeah, so junior year is definitely a stressful year. However, like Hannah and I mentioned earlier, I think a great thing about Gann is that like you can have those connections with your teachers. And even though it is a stressful year, they definitely make sure that you're on track and that you're doing okay. And if you are definitely, if you ever feel overwhelmed, like Hannah mentioned, you can always like reach out to them and ask for an extension if needed. And I think that's a great part. And I've been also fortunate to be able to be in person for most of the week also. And I think that's really helped. Just like I learned much better in person, and I don't have to deal with like my weird, wacky Wi-Fi issues online. And I think that's great. And I've been fortunate to have that opportunity too. But yeah, it is a stressful year, but like I said, I'm grateful to have those teachers to always be able to, that I know I could reach out to and make sure you're doing okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with everything Jonah said. I mean, I feel like stress levels like vary based on the person. Like, I mean, I'm a person who gets stressed a lot, so obviously like it's junior year, like there's no question that I'll be stressed, but I think Gann does a very good job to make sure that it's as least stress as possible. Like as Jonah said, like we can go to our teachers, but also they're like outside of our teachers, like it's not like for the environment, it's not like you're like a competitive environment. Like the people around you, like in your classes, it's not like it's not like, oh, like I did better than him, like, or I did better than someone. It's more like people are willing to help you. Like I know I'm talking to my friends every night, asking help on homework and stuff, and people are willing to help, and there's so many people you can ask for help. And I think that there's no competitive, so I like it.
That's great.
I'll jump in for 1 second because I'm glad you brought that up, Hannah. We are seeing this fall with, this is college decision season for a lot of our students. They're getting their decisions now. And to see how the kids support each other as college news comes in, and how some of them are already pre-thinking, gee, I know one of my other friends applied to the same school I did, and what if I get in and he doesn't? Or what if he gets in and I don't? And they're asking us about how to handle it, and they're looking for different ways to support each other and to keep that, keep their spirits up as they go through what's a different kind of stressful time in their high school lives. So we all hope it's all good news and the support part will be easy. But it's been really nice to see that even during the pandemic, when they can't hug each other and they can't get so close, they are looking for different ways to really be good friends to each other.
Thank you, Ms. Keller. I wonder if our parents have any thoughts on seeing their children at Gann versus seeing them at other independent or public or day schools. At Gann, we talk a lot about student voice and student choice, so we really do make sure that students have their own voice in terms of academics, social situations, but also their Jewish journey. So there's so many different components. Again, we're dual curriculum school. Obviously, we're a Jewish day school, but we really value students, and I would say their parents, in terms of choosing their journeys. So especially for our students that have transferred in and their parents, I would love to just hear if you've seen things that your children have been able to explore at Gann that they might not have been able to do, or anything else that you think would be helpful.
I will. Yeah. Hannah's taking some rigorous classes. She's working hard, but she's really getting pushed. And even through COVID, the rigor has not changed. It's there, but it's a good challenge. And I know there's a lot of work, but like Hannah said, she is supported by her teachers. So what I've seen is she's really pushed herself too. Like even when she picked her classes for this year, she wanted some very challenging classes. But then for the extracurriculars, like she came in knowing she wanted to dance, she knew she wanted to play volleyball. Never would I have imagined that she would have joined the math team. Like she really pushed herself into areas, that, and that's where I've seen a huge change. And just, it amazes me in a year how many extracurriculars, and it's because they're things she wants to do. It's not like, oh, I need to do things because it's going to look good. It's things that she has an interest in, and some things she never really had an interest in, but she's like, oh, I'll give it a try, and maybe she doesn't continue with that club, but there are other clubs that she has continued with that she never knew anything about before. So that's what I've seen, compared to, and I think even though previously in her previous schools, she had challenging classes and she was pushed, you could only go so far if she wasn't then supported to really, to that higher level.
Thank you.
It's great. It's great.
Michael, do you have any? I never want to put anybody on the spot, so you don't have to talk, but you're more than welcome.
Oh, it's hard. I feel like I said a lot already. No,
You have, and it's really helpful.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think I think what Claire was just saying, I mean, I think it is important at this stage for kids in high school to get the chance to try things and to explore and see, different parts of themselves. So the one that comes up is like, Jacqueline had to run off to a student council meeting, and like I gotta say, no one's more surprised than me that she decided to run and decided to do it, and that particularly coming in as a transfer, we sort of told her it's like, well, it's great that you're running, but you know, yeah, it's okay if it doesn't happen. And then it did, and she's, you know, enjoying it. And I think that's a place where part of it is interacting with others, and part of it is giving back to Gann, and being able to be a voice for her class. So, but you know, these are things where it's like, yeah, it's good to try these things out, and see what you like and what you don't like, and that's, you know, I think both in terms of what Gann offers, that's great, and also in terms of like the college experience. I think they're attuned to the fact and help the students recognize the fact that it's like, yeah, this doesn't all have to be about, you know, something that's gonna be aligned in your college application, or that's, you know, not what the importance of all these things are.
Thank you so much. And I agree with you. Our students do so much meaningful work, and they often do it not because they have to, but because they really want to. So college matriculations is a really important part of life and the high school experience, and Miss Geller and Miss Avalos do an amazing job. But when you're at Gann, it's also really important, and what you do in your time there and who you become is so important. Jonah and Hannah, I want to give you any last minute airtime if you have anything else you want to share, or something you would think would be helpful for somebody transferring to Gann, or just any in general advice, or something great you just want to say about Gann. No pressure. And if you don't, that's okay too. You've really done an amazing job.
Sure, I'll say some last remarks. I think one thing about Gann, like everybody's been saying, is that like there are so many opportunities that you can take part in that like I just didn't even realize that. And I think just definitely taking advantage of those is huge. And also we have like a bajillion clubs, and you can even create one if it's not offered. I actually did one, but and I think that's a great part in how you can definitely, it's a small knit community, and I think just being aware of that, well, I think you're always kind of aware of that because you always have the teachers surrounding with you and always there to help you. But I think a big thing is definitely taking advantage of those opportunities that Gann offers.
Yeah, to add on to that, I mean, coming into Gann, like I always heard, oh, like everything you just heard, like I think like just going there, like they really like held true, and I think I was kind of like skeptical, not like that I didn't have any trust in Gann, but just like, I don't know, I was just a little skeptical to be like, for myself to see myself in those positions. Cause I mean, before I came to Gann, I'll be honest, I wouldn't really say I was much like as outgoing or like a leader, but like coming to Gann, like I kind of found like I liked being in that position, and I learned that like I can, and Gann offers so many opportunities to do that. And anything there, like you can be like a leader on a sports team, STEM club. There's so many opportunities.
Wow. I want to go. Oh my gosh, you guys.
You do get to every day, Miss Jacobs, as
I
our
know.
amazing dean of students.
We're really blessed. We have great
We are really
students.
blessed. Yes.
Mhm.
So
We have great
I want to
students.
thank everybody who is here tonight. Oh, Karen.
I just want to add what Gann is doing during COVID. It just amazes me. I just am so appreciative that Hannah can go to school. One day is remote on Fridays, which is fine. But it just amazes me that, you know, it takes the school to set really strict procedures, but the community adhering to it and just cares about everybody. I see Hannah and her friends, and they're so strict, you know, that with the social outside of school, and they're very respectful. And I really appreciate that. It's the school and the community that has made this possible.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Karen. It's really an important point. And I think that's really something that's so special and important about Gann, that we work on teaching kids, and not only about community, but we teach people in and out of the classroom how to be good citizens of the world, good support. And we do it together in community. This is a group effort. It takes a village, literally. Staying in school 15 weeks in person, safely, 6 feet apart with masks, is no small task, and we are doing it. So we are grateful to our parents, our students, our community, everybody that works at Gann. So I think that's a wonderful note to end on. We really appreciate everybody who's been here tonight. For prospective parents, in case you want more, tomorrow we're doing a brown bag lunch, which is a parent panel, so you can talk more one-on-one to parents. Next week, we're doing community candle lighting, both with students and for prospective families. We will be sending that out, but please be in touch. As you know, the deadline is approaching. We want to make this easy. So if you're having problems with recommendations or anything, reach out to us. We want to make this helpful, especially in this crazy 2020 year. We don't want to add to anybody's stress. But again, from all of us at Gann, the admissions team who's here tonight, college counseling, our class dean, our amazing parents, Michael and Karen, and our amazing students, Hannah and Jonah, and Jack, who had to run the student council. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a
Happy
good night.
Hanukkah, everybody.
Happy Hanukkah.
Good night.
Can I ask one question about the thing tomorrow? Can you
Yeah.
explain what that is more? So that's parents talking about experience as a parent again. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's more parent to parent, just hearing about our community, about what it means to be a parent again. If you have questions, sometimes it's easier to ask a question to a parent than to us. So it's just more opportunities, more touch points. You can
Okay,
stop
thank
in for 5 minutes. You don't have to stay the whole time. You don't have to come at all. But we are trying to offer as many touch points as possible since we can't have you in our building in person this year.
Okay, thank you so much. I
You
appreciate
are
it.
welcome. Nice to see
Nice
you.
to
Have a
see
good
you.
night.
As an oldest child, I felt like it's required to come to everything that you put on the agenda.
You don't have to come to anything. You're more than welcome. We love to see you. And we try to have different people at different panels, but it's all optional. It's just to give you as much information as possible.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Night.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.